Now, there are different ways in which you can use Pig. One, you can use Pig in a Grunt shell. That's what I'm going to explain to you right now. So Grunt is an interactive shell for running Pig commands. Of course, you can run your Pig scripts from using the Grunt shell also. So what is a script? Pig can run a script file that can contain the Pig commands. So you will have the complete logic of your Pig commands in a file called as script.pig. And then if you run pig script.pig, it will run all the commands in the local file, which will have something called as script. Okay, you can also embed your Pig programs in Java like you are running JDBC for Java. So three ways how you can use Pig is using a script mode, using a Grunt shell, or using a embedded mode of execution. Okay, good. So Naga was saying, so in this scenario of the healthcare, we will have to delete the records which are sensitive data and store only non-sensitive data. Then, no Naga, what we will do is we will delete the columns which is having sensitive information and keep the non-sensitive information. We are not going to delete a record. We are only going to remove the columns and then store the result into another HDFS file. Okay, Naga? So that is the way how you will be doing it. Embedded way is using Java. So that is also a way how to do it. We will be demoing a script way and a Grunt shell right now. Yes, Arun, you can call a Java program. I'll be giving you the way how to do that also. Yes, you will be doing it. Okay. So right now, let's use an example of Grunt shell. So let me go back to my Cloudera. So remember last time we had some data that was there in HDFS, which was a word count example, right? So let me go back and open up another terminal, go to the browser and see what is the name of the file that we had, the words file that we had. So for doing that, I will open up my browser, okay, and try to look up. Okay, it was called as Samir. Thank you, Shekhar. So let me go down to the name node status. And if I look at browse the file system, I should have a file called as Samir. Thank you so much, Shekhar. Appreciate that. So let me go down to S over here. Samir. Yeah, there it is. The file is called as Samir, and this is a sample file for testing MapReduce programming, right? So this file is already there in my HDFS. So the first step is for loading this HDFS file into the Pig script. That is what is my first responsibility. And the way how to do that is like this. Let me copy all of these lines into your example. So first let me make the changes. I will say slash Samir. Okay, and I would say user, I would say Samir word count. Okay, Samir Pig word count. Okay, so let me copy all of these lines into your questions window so that you will have it ready for use. I'm going to explain all of these things. Okay, sorry, Shekhar, there is a double E. Thank you, friend. Sorry. Very nice observation, friend. Thank you. Otherwise, unnecessarily, it would have given me an error that file not found. So let me put this into the questions window so that it will be easy for you. Hey, S is capital? Let me just confirm once since you're saying it. No, I thought S was small here. Just one sec. Let me go back to the earlier window. Okay. No, S was small, my dear friend. It was not capital. S was small. Okay. Good, good, good. Right, Shekhar. But then E is also a thing. So there is no exception about the grunt. It is a information, my dear friend. It is not an exception. So if you look at the grunt shell, it is not an exception. First, let me paste it into your questions window. Control V, sorry, Control C, Control V, and I'm sending it across. Okay. So if you look at the terminal window, let me minimize it. These are all loggings. This is not exceptions. You can see this is info warnings that is there. This is log4j Balasaheb. Okay. So the first step that I'm going to do over here is I'm going to load this. So what is this line going to do? I'm going to load this data that is Samir, which is in HDFS, and I'm going to give a name for every line. Okay, that's what I'm calling it as line, and I'm giving it a data type, character array, and this whole thing is what is going to be in a variable called as input1. Okay, so let me do that. I am going to say, quickly say input1 is equal to load, and I'm going to say Samir, and I'm going to say as my line colon char array. I could have easily copy pasted it, but I'm not being lazy. So when I run this, you see nothing happens. Why? Because it is just going to be executed on the client side. Nothing is going to go down to the cluster side. Okay, so Mukesh was asking, where is the file getting loaded, in the memory or in the disk? In fact, nothing is happening. It is just keeping it in the memory of your Grunt shell. Only when you say store or a dump will you see a MapReduce code being fired. So if you want to see a MapReduce, if you want to execute this, you will have to either say store or dump. Store is for saving the contents into HDFS, and dump is for printing it out. So let me say dump1, dump input1, so that it will show you the contents of that particular variable. So let it continue. Let it go ahead, and we will see what is the contents of it. So you can see here it is starting with a MapReduce job. Okay, so anything that you run will all be a MapReduce job. Shweta, the line char array means that every line that I have in the complete file is identified as a line. I'm giving it a variable name as a line. So see over here, input1 is a variable which will have all the contents of the file. In my example, I've got 3 lines, right? Every line, look at this word as. When I say I'm loading it as line char array would mean every variable is, every line will be identified with the word line. So if I want to only look at each individual line, I would use this variable called as line. If I want to look at the whole file, I would use it in the form of input1. Okay, see over here how this is what is the output that got printed out. So every line is converted into a bracket. See over here, this is what is called as tuple. A tuple. These are all data types what we have in Pig. So the whole record, okay, that is the file gets converted into 3 lines, okay, and every line is considered as a tuple. So you can see over here the way how it is reading. See here, successfully read 3 records. Okay, and the output is, see over here, successfully stored 3 records into a temp file, and this is what is the output of the temp file. It is not there in HDFS. So it shows you how many records are read or written. Good. Hey Mukesh, so if there is a big file, everything will be there in the memory. No, my dear friend Mukesh, it is only that wording that input1 is what will be there in the memory. The contents are not touched. Please remember, on the client side, where am I running this? Pig is on the client side. Where is the data? Data is in HDFS. When I write this line, nothing happens, Mukesh. Only this input1 variable will be there in the memory. Only when you say dump or store, will it convert whatever you have written into MapReduce and then fire it in the cluster. Everything will be executed on the cluster. The jar file will be created. It will be executed on the cluster, and the output will be shown on the client. Make sense? Okay, good, Mukesh. So now, fantastic. So Naga, it is working when I have opened up the new VM copy. Fantastic, Naga. So Britesh was saying, isn't the file containing unstructured data? We earlier learned that Pig is for semi-structured and unstructured. When you say unstructured, Britesh, it is audio, video, and images are considered as unstructured data. Otherwise, it is plain textual data, which is semi-structured data. Okay, Mukesh? No. If you have a large file, does it display everything on the console? Yes. Whatever might be the size of the file, it will display it on the console, but where is it executed? Is it executed on the client or is it executed on the cluster? Yes, friend. Where is the actual file executed? Where is the data? When I said /Samir, where is the data? The data is in HDFS. So you don't need to have that much amount of memory on the client, friend. That's what I'm trying to confirm. Okay, make it very clear for your friends. Very good. Exactly. Chetan, you have to give the path of your HDFS file as a part of load. Good. Good. Clear on this, Shweta? So even if you have got a large file, yes, it will display everything for you. You might have 1 million records, like the transaction file that we'll be using later on. It will show everything for you. Ritesh said, if we re-extract a new Cloudera VM, we lose all the settings we did so far related to MapReduce, scoop, etc. Right? Exactly, Ritesh. If you have done any specific settings, you will have to redo it. I'm sorry about that. Good. Now let me go down to the next one. So now what am I doing? Let me explain while I'm typing it so that you'll be clear with what am I doing next. Okay. So the next line that I'm going to do is I'm going to loop through all the lines that you have in input 1. So that's what I'm doing. For each means looping through the contents of input 1 and generating what? First, I'm flattening it. Flatten is a function which will break those 3 lines and make it as 1 line. Then you will tokenize it. Tokenize it means what? You will break it into separate words. What do you want to break? That line. Remember this variable we said as line. So every line is what we are going to flatten it, tokenize it, and every individual word will be identified as a word. You see as word over here, and the collection of all the words will be there in a variable called as words. Okay, so that's what we are doing over here. All functions should be in capital letters. Shweta, the reason we did dump is so that you will see the contents of your input 1, right? Right now you don't know what is there in input 1, so it is advisable when you are learning to always say dump. Once you learned it, then there is no need for dump. You will do dump only at the last stage. I'm going to do dump at every stage so that you will understand what it is. So now let me run my second line. I'm going to say words is equal to for each input 1 generate flatten. Then I'm going to say tokenize. All this are keywords. Okay, what do I want to tokenize? I want to tokenize flatten and tokenize every line as word. And then I am going to say dump words because I want to show you how the words is going to look like. Okay, so that's what we are doing over here, friends. Good. So while it is working, let me have a look at the questions window. Good. Pick commands are case sensitive. Yes, only functions are case sensitive. You're welcome, Shweta. Got it, Nitin? Only functions are case sensitive, friend. Then what do? I am grouping the complete collection of words based on every word. So you will see all the similar words coming together. Okay? So, hey, what is the Z word? I didn't understand. Only capitals are a keyword. Okay, got it? Function should be in capital alphabets. You can give any name for this variable. Word is not a keyword. No, that is what is my business logic. This is not a keyword. Line, word, input 1, you can give it as Ruchira, you can give it as Shweta, you can give it as Nitin, I don't mind. But then it has to be something meaningful, right? So that's the reason I'm trying to give a meaningful thing to it. So now see, what is the output of your words? It has given me the complete line as 1 by 1. You tokenized it, right? So it says this is a sample file for testing MapReduce programs, right? This is how you had it in 3 lines. You tokenized it as a word and you brought it together. Okay? Now, the next thing that I'm going to do over here is I'm going to group all the words based on the new word. So let me run this and then I will have a look at the questions window so that if you have anything I can discuss that. So give me one sec. Let me do my grouping. Word underscore groups is equal to group words by word. Okay, just give me one sec, please. So I say semicolon, just one sec, semicolon, okay, and then I will say dump word underscore groups so that you will know how it looks like. Okay, so I hope you are clear on what am I doing. I'm grouping all the collection of words based on word. Okay, then what am I doing? I'm doing a word count. Before I go to the next one, let me have a look at the questions window. So what is for each and generate? For each is for looping, and you're looping through the contents, and generate is for letting you know what is the output you want. You are outputting every word, right? So for each, like a Java programming language, is for looping, and for generate is what is the output that you want to generate. Good, Shweta. Then Manish said basically they are variables. Exactly, Manish. Flatten is a function. Okay, they're not keywords. No, I mentioned sometime back also they are not keywords. They are all basically variable. Remember I said when Ruchira had asked it, I said that this could be Shweta, this could be Ruchira, it could be anything. It should be meaningfully together. So now after grouping it, let me go back and see how it looks like. See over here, this is what is the group name, and this is what is, whenever you put something in curly braces, that is what is called as a collection of something. It's called as a bag. You will have collection of all the similar words. In my example, there is no similar word. So that's the reason why you have got all as in the bag. In the curly braces, you have got only one tuple. If you had two fors, you would have seen it as separate tuples. Okay. So this is what it is. First, if you want to see the schema of this, you can say describe word underscore groups so that you will see what is the schema of it. So the schema says first is a group. On what have you grouped? You have grouped it on the word, and then comma, you will get the words, which is nothing but the word for that is a char array. So schema describe will give you, like in your database, will give you the schema of it. Okay, I hope it is clear for you guys what we are doing. Good. So for each and generate are, my dear friend, for each and generate are not variables. They are all specific functions. What are variables are your words and word. That is what is variables. Nitin, for each and group are all keywords. That's correct. The words and word, what I'm saying, they are all variables. Okay, this is what Manish had to say. Okay, I'm putting it back again in the chat window. Make sense? Good, that's correct. So Ritesh was saying in the earlier example, it applied the flatten function first and then it tokenized. Exactly. Good. If I go back over here, let me confirm this once again. Input 1, line, words, word are all keywords. Let me document it here. Input 1, line, words, word, then word underscore groups. Just give me one sec. Word underscore groups are all variables. Then your load, for each, generate, comma group are keywords having specific meaning in Pig language. Okay, and I'm going to put this into the questions window so that there are no doubts, my dear friends. No, I'm just putting it because I got habituated to it. This is what is a comment. I'm so habituated to Java, so that's the way. Okay, Shekhar? Cool. Flatten, tokenize. I mentioned it earlier. Flatten, tokenize, count are inbuilt functions. Okay, so I hope this is also very clear, my dear friends. So it is good that I'll keep this in the document so that next time onwards it is important. And as you can rightly see over here, only functions are case sensitive. Good. So there it is. That's nice. So that applies all of these things. Yes, Nitin, you can create your own functions for using it in your Pig. You can do that, and you will have a sample example of it as we go ahead, Nitin. Good. So Shekhar was asking, do functions get applied inside out on parentheses or outside in? It is always the first function outside will be evaluated, and then you would have the inside function getting evaluated. Okay, cool. Hey, Ritesh, okay, just one second. Let me not confuse you, Ritesh. If you look at this, the line, whatever is there, first it will be tokenized and then it will be flattened. You are correct. Okay, I don't want to confuse you. It is always inside out, but then when you read it, you will see that it is flattened and it's tokenized, right? So I was talking from the reading perspective. You are correct. It is always the inside functions will be called in first. Ritesh and Shekhar. Okay, friends? Good. That's correct. So Manish, all the functions should be in capital letters like we are seeing flatten, tokenize and count. All others is case insensitive. Good. So if you want to tokenize on comma, what should we do? So then the tokenize function will specify how do you want to tokenize it. There will be one more bracket for the tokenize function after this in the comma. So right now we are tokenizing it based on a tab. Okay, good. The flatten function, like I had said it earlier, that's right. Good because the Shweta, the flatten function will break up the whole 3 lines into 1 line, and tokenize is like you saw in the Java code, the string tokenizer, which will break up that whole line into multiple words. That's what it does, friend. Good. Fantastic. So I hope it is clear what is a variable function and a keyword, Shweta. So you had requested this earlier. I hope it is very clear as to what is a variable, what is a function, and what is a keyword from this document. Good. Let me go ahead and see if there are any other questions. Good, Vikas. So Shekhar was saying, can we change the contents of Samir so that we can have multiple tuples in a word group? Shekhar, can you please try that out on your own? So the way how we are doing it, it will be different. Arun, if the flatten is not used, you will see it in a different fashion. So please try it out. That would be an additional homework for you to do. So I'm giving a sample run. Please try out all the possibilities, my dear friend, right? So Anji was saying, will the splitting and parallel processing concepts work here? Very much, Anji. Whatever is the splitting logic and the parallel processing concepts, all will be working here exactly the same way. Thank you. So there is a document that is over here that is given by Shri. So this will give you a link to the documents. So all that you'll have to do in Google is just search for pig operators. Shri has already given that. So for further reading, if you search for pig operators, let me click on this. It will take you to a page where it will show you, see, this is the language reference manual and then Pig Latin basics. So this is what was given by our friend Sri, and let me copy this and give it to you also so that you will come to know what all are the different operators what you have in Pig. So this will give you a very exhaustive reading for all the materials. There we go. So if you look at this Pig Latin reference manual, you would see that in the functions there is something called as, let me go down to the functions. So if you look at, let me click on this, give me one sec. Let me look at the data types. We will come down to this data types later on. There are a lot of examples what you're seeing over here. Okay, see here, load, okay, loading. So you will see all of these examples. This is just for understanding. You can do this as a further reading. Don't worry about it. Okay. So if you want to see the flatten function, see over here, you had asked me what are the different functions. So if you look at the eval functions, there are a lot of evaluation functions. I want to show you what is flatten. Let me do a control F over here. I know flatten is over here. See here, although it is an operator, it's a flatten function. See here, what does flatten do? It will break up multiple lines into one line. Okay. So we did something called as tokenize also, right? Let me do control F and do something called as tokenize. See over here, tokenize is also here, which will split a string and output a bag of words. Okay. So all of these things are available for you over here, but then this is something new, so you will take some time to understand it. Don't worry, we are looking at the basics. So I don't mind you asking questions, friends, but then get the basics out of it. Good. Okay, so I'm back. Guys, I'm back at the Edit Plus. Are you see the video lagging, Arun? Because I'm back at the Edit Plus page. What do you see in the video? Are you seeing the Edit Plus page, friend? Okay, good. Unfortunately, Rajesh, you are having a little bit of bandwidth issues. If you're looking at the tokenized page, I'm already about 45 seconds into the Edit Plus page, my dear friend. You definitely have a little bit of an internet issue with the video lagging, friend. I'm sorry about that, Rajesh. Good. So now let me continue. So I hope this is clear as to what all are functions, friends. So now let me go back to Cloudera and I want to continue. So what did we do? We have grouped all the words together. Now what is the next step that I have to do after I group the words? I will have to do a word count. So what am I doing in the word count is, again I'm looping through all the words. You know what does generate means? It is going to generate. It will generate something called as a group. So whenever you use the word group, I am using group for which variable? Variable called as word underscore groups, right? So on what was the word underscore groups grouped? It was grouped by the word, right? See here, group words by the different word. So in future, always remember, whenever I'm using the word group, I'm always referring to the category on which it was grouped. That is word. So what does this word count do? It will give you every word and it will give you a count of the that particular group in that words. So indirectly it will give you every word and the count of it. Okay, like what you saw in a MapReduce program, that is what this line is doing. It is, I'm looping through all the groups, generating the word and the count of it, friends. Okay, good. Hey. So that see what would happen is, just to give you, see, it would be impossible to try all the possibilities, right, Nathan? I hope you understand, and everybody, I'm trying to give you a simple example so that you'll understand the logic and of course go through it, friend. This is what Nathan had to say. I do it and agree. So if you want to do anything further, you can definitely try it and take the help of support and us in case if you have a problem. But then understand the basics. That's what is important. I fully agree with you, Nitin, but then let's give a little bit of benefit of doubt to people because they might want a little bit more time. So I'm okay with that. But then please understand it. That is what is the basics. Thanks for the understanding, Nitin. So now let me run this, friends. Okay. So I want to go ahead and execute this. So let me go ahead and execute this statement right now. So let me do this. So I'm going to say word underscore count is equal to for each word underscore groups. Okay, so understand that I'm looping through the word groups, and then what do I want it to be generated? I will say generate my group will be the word on which I'm generating it, comma, I want to have a count of the different words that I had. Okay, so I do a semicolon and I pressed enter. And now if I say dump my word underscore count, you would see that it will print me every word and the number of occurrences of that word in that complete words file. So you saw that in 4 lines, my word count is done. What am I doing in the next line? I am ordering it. Whatever is a word count variable, I am ordering it based on the group, that means on the word, in a descending fashion. And finally, I'm storing that ordered word count into a file in the HDFS so that the MapReduce code will be generated and it will show that in the file. That's what we are trying to do. Okay? So hope you have understood what we are doing in this example. Okay, so as a part of your further studies, you can see over here, there is a document called as Pig scripts, or so in the new LMS what you're having, Pig codes and Pig scripts are one file. Don't worry, you will see a file called as Pig scripts. You will see an assignment for finding out the successful students, the data set. Try to find it out and then you will get the solution for that. There is a Pig weather example and there is a Pig script for the healthcare example. So please try out these things so that you will understand what is happening and how do you work with the whole Pig file, friends. Okay. Let me now go back. See here, it has printed me the variable and it has printed me the number of count for it, friends. Okay. I hope it is clear for you. Okay. So group is a variable here, no Mukesh. If you go back to my document, where did I put my group? Group is a keyword here, Mukesh. Yes, Shweta, you can put all of these commands into a file and execute it. But then when you're learning it for the first time, do it individually so that you know what is happening. If you execute it in one go, you will not know what is happening, friend, right? So do it in that particular way. So you can put all of these lines into one file and then simply execute it as pig and the name of the file. Fantastic. If you want to exit from Grunt, you will have to say quit and semicolon. Unfortunately, there is no way how to clear it, friend. Okay, good friends. So now I'm going to go ahead with the next step. I'm going to order it, friends. So I would say ordered underscore word underscore count, and I will say order my word underscore count by my group, and I will do it I'll be grouping it in a descending fashion. And then finally, I'm going to store it. I'm not going to dump my word underscore count because we will see the output in the store. So I will say store the variable that is ordered underscore word underscore count into the location of wherever you want to store it. I will say slash user slash Samir pig word count semicolon, and see when I pressed enter, it automatically started with a MapReduce example. So we will go and check this final output once it is done, friends. Okay. So this is a sample example of how to work with it.